It was 2 a.m., and I was alone in my truck, driving down a dark, empty road. The hitchhiker sat in the back seat, silent, staring straight ahead. I could see his pale face in the rearview mirror, his eyes locked on mine. I hadn't seen him move or blink in over an hour. The worst part, I didn't remember stopping to pick him up. I'm just a regular guy, 28 years old, living in a small town in Ohio. I drive a delivery truck for a living, so I'm used to long, lonely nights on the road. This happened last fall, on a chilly October night, when the air was crisp and the trees were bare. I was on my way home from a late delivery, taking a shortcut through a quiet stretch of Route 42 that cuts through the woods. It's a road most people avoid after dark. Too many sharp turns, too many deer, and no cell service for miles. I was tired, sipping gas station coffee, the radio crackling with static. The headlights barely cut through the fog. That's when I saw him. A guy standing on the shoulder, thumb out, wearing a faded denim jacket and a baseball cap pulled low. He looked normal enough, maybe a little rough, like he'd been walking for a while. I don't usually stop for hitchhikers, but it was freezing out, and something about him made me feel bad. I pulled over, rolled down the window, and asked where he was headed.
"Just up the road,"
he said. His voice was low, almost a mumble. He didn't look at me, just stared at the ground. I figured he was shy or tired, so I told him to hop in. He climbed into the back seat without a word, and I started driving again. The first few minutes were fine. I tried making small talk, asked his name, where he was from. He didn't answer, just sat there, hands in his lap, staring out the window. I thought maybe he was drunk or on something, but he didn't smell like alcohol, and his movements were steady when he got in. I glanced at him in the rearview mirror. His face was pale, almost gray, and his eyes were wrong. Too wide, too still, like he was looking through me. "You okay back there?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. No response, just silence. The air in the car felt heavy, like it was pressing down on me. I turned up the radio to fill the quiet, but the static got worse, popping and hissing like it was trying to say something. I turned it off. 10 minutes passed, then 20. I realized I didn't know where I was supposed to drop him off. He'd said,
"Just up the road."
but we'd been driving for a while, and he hadn't said a word about stopping. I looked in the mirror again. His eyes were locked on mine now, unblinking, like he'd been staring at me the whole time. My stomach twisted. "Hey man, where am I taking you?" I asked louder this time. Nothing. Just those eyes boring into me. My hands started shaking on the wheel. I told myself to calm down. He was probably just a weird guy, maybe homeless, maybe messed up in the head. But something felt off. Way off. I couldn't shake the feeling that I hadn't actually stopped to pick him up. I tried to remember pulling over, opening the door, him getting in, but my mind was blank. It was like he'd just appeared. I decided to pull over at the next gas station and tell him to get out. I didn't care if it was rude. I just wanted him gone. But the road kept stretching on. No gas stations, no houses, just trees and fog. My phone was dead, had been since I started the drive, even though it was fully charged when I left the warehouse. I kept driving, glancing back every few seconds. He never moved, never spoke, just stared. Then I heard it. A low hum, like someone chanting under their breath. It was coming from him. I couldn't make out words, just the steady, droning sound that made my skin crawl. I slammed on the brakes, tires screeching, and turned around. "Get out!" I yelled. "Now!" He didn't move, didn't blink, just kept humming, his eyes fixed on mine in the mirror. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. I fumbled for the door handle, ready to jump out and run, but the locks snapped shut. I didn't touch them. The truck was old, no automatic locks, no fancy tech. They shouldn't have locked on their own. I don't know how long I sat there, frozen, listening to that hum. Felt like hours, but the clock on the dash didn't move. Finally, I saw lights up ahead. A gas station, thank God. I pulled in, hands shaking, and turned to tell him to leave. The back seat was empty. No sign of him. The door hadn't opened. I would have heard it. He was just gone. I sat there, catching my breath, telling myself it was over. I checked the back seat again, nothing. Hustler hookups. No clothes, no bag, no trace of him. I drove home, shaking, and didn't sleep for 2 days. The next week, I told a friend at work about it. He went quiet and said there's a story around here about a hitchhiker who shows up on Route 42. People say he's been appearing for years, always the same, denim jacket, baseball cap, pale face. They say he doesn't hurt anyone. He just rides along, stares, and disappears. Nobody knows who he is or why he's there. Some think he's a ghost. Others think he's something worse. I don't know what to believe. All I know is I avoid Route 42 now. Last night, I had to drive it again for a delivery. Halfway through, I glanced in the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty, but I swear I heard that hum again. Faint, like it was coming from far away. I haven't slept since. What do you guys think? Has anyone else seen him? I'm freaking out here.